Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk About It. I am your host, Cris Meadows. I am president of Harvest Girls International Incorporated in Indianapolis, Indiana. I am so excited to be with you today. Today, we are going to just talk about starting your own organization, following your dream, following your passion. Women are starting to rise up and take their stand in their place in life and not be afraid doing it. And so I have the perfect person here with me today. Today I have Sasha King, who is here today. She is the founder and president of Concrete Rose in Muncie, Indiana. Hi, Sasha. Thank you for coming on today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to just hear more about this. Is a new organization that you've started. So listen, I want the listeners to, first I want you to share, please share, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And you don't want to miss any notifications that we may have. You never know who I might be interviewing on this channel. So stay tuned. But Sasha is an amazing young woman who is doing a empowerment organization for the youth in Muncie, Indiana. And we know that I think it's 1 out of 4 or out of 3, every young person has low self-esteem. They have self-worth issues. And so it is important that we have these little bursts of empowerment all over the world to help keep our youth engaged. And that's what Sasha is doing. I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana, and she's in Muncie. So Sasha, please tell us about Concrete Rose.
All right. So again, Concrete Rose is a youth empowerment program located here in Muncie, Indiana. And we have about 25 kids currently that just went through the program. So we just wrapped up our first year. And so through Concrete Rose, we focus on leadership, we focus on Black education, we focus on academics, so scholastic achievement, and then community service. So we have a requirement that the youth in our program get a certain amount of volunteer hours and Black education hours. So one thing about Concrete Rose, it is specific to the Black youth in this community. And so we have children from all different schools around Muncie. So we have Muncie Central, which is our most diverse school. We have Delta High School, Yorktown High School, Burris. And then we actually have a group of kids that come from Marion to be a part of the program. Awesome. So one thing that was really important to me is that these Black youth have a space where they can all be together, because a lot of these schools are county schools. Some of them, they're the only Black kids in their whole entire school, or obviously there's, not very many teachers that look like them or professionals that they're exposed to. So we get all these kids together, we have monthly meetings, and we talk about these things. We talk about the racism that they've experienced at school. And then we have guest speakers. So we've had mental health professionals that have talked to the kids about depression, anxiety, people that come in and talk about leadership. We've had a former police officer come in and speak to the kids about the climate of the world today. So they have to get community service hours, Black history hours. They have to attend our monthly meetings, and then we have different opportunities and get together during the year outside of that.
That's amazing. Can you turn your sound up?
Yes, ma'am.
It seems like maybe your sound is down just a little bit. So if it's all the way up, because your voice is soft, it would probably sound just right. Yeah, if you could get it up. So that's an amazing feat to start in a city with all the high schools that you have involved, all the children you have involved. So what prompted you to, first of all, how did you get the name?
So actually, Ms. Crystal, I had been talking to you, and I was at a point where I didn't know what I wanted to name, the organization. And you told me, like, don't worry about that right now. Do everything else, get everything, it will come. Don't worry about it. So I stopped worrying about the name. And then one day I was asleep, and I don't know if I was dreaming, the TV was on or something, but Concrete Rose came in my mind. So I woke up in the middle of the night and I put it in my notes. So then the next morning I looked it up online, and there is a series of poems from Tupac Shakur. And so I began to research and read through that. And he uses himself as a metaphor, as if he is the rose, and the concrete kind of being society or your environment. And he talks about a rose growing through the concrete, and it's, pretty much impossible to happen. So that's where I got the name. So in my mind, the youth in the program are the rose, and the concrete is the society, the different barriers and struggles that we may go through. And our goal is to get the youth to come through that, through the concrete, no matter how difficult, no matter how impossible it may seem. So that's where I got the name.
That's amazing. I love the name. I don't always know how to explain it, but I absolutely love the name and how the concept came up. What gave you the passion, or had it always been in you to start an organization like this? I mean, apparently that is something that probably was in you. Maybe you didn't even know. What gave you the inspiration, or how did you come up with starting this wonderful organization?
So I always knew that I wanted to start an organization, but I specifically thought I would do something specifically with women, young women. I was a teen mom, so I always thought I would do something, in that area. And then I have 5 children now, and I have 2 of my kids are in high school, boys. And we had a situation at school back when they were in middle school where one of them was not invited to be in the honor society at the school because of having a referral on his record. So he's a straight A student, honor student, athlete, great kid. But he had gotten a couple of referrals. One was for like chewing gum in class, and then one was like, someone kicked him, he kicked him back, horseplay. And so he is at a predominantly white school. So it sometimes, a lot of times, there are situations where he may get in trouble, but the other kid did not. And so these 2 things created barriers for him to be invited to that program. And in my mind, I thought it was something that I could fight and raise a big ruckus about, or I could create something for kids on our own that look like this, because I know he is not the only one in that situation. So it had always been in my mind, but I didn't get to work on it and really start working on the organization until, I would say, after George Floyd situation. So that really stirred something up in me. And it guided me to where, okay, I want to do this specifically for Black kids. I want for them to have a space where they would generally never have, of where it's just them having these conversations, sharing their shared experiences, and then also getting education, getting support, scholarship opportunities, and all the things that they may not have otherwise had access to.
That is amazing. I love that, because you didn't know what it looked like, but it didn't stop you, but you created it. And what people don't realize many times, Sasha, is that we have the power to create. We have the power to create what it is that we dream of, that we visualize. What is stopping us? And and so you do male and female, or just males?
Male and female.
Male and female, which is really great, because a lot of programs such as Harvest Girls International, we only focus on the females. But I think it's amazing that your organization focuses on both male and female. And I think it is amazing. I've seen your website, I've seen your page, and it's so structured, so well organized. Just amazing what you've done. How long have you been in operation?
1 year. So we just completed our first year. We just had our end of the year banquet. the day after your banquet for Harvest Girls International. And so it seems like it has been forever, but it's only been 1 year.
But you know, you've done well in a year. It looks like it's been longer. It's so polished and so well put together. It definitely looks like it's been longer than 1 year, because it took me a while to get a lot of the things in place. But I'm 15 years in. So 15 years ago, this was kind of taboo, having empowerment class, especially in the African-American community. Because getting a woman to actually think she needs to be empowered and take a class or do a workshop or a seminar, that was like, oh my goodness, pulling teeth, especially in the Midwest, Now in New York and Atlanta, and especially California, it was huge there. But here in the Midwest, it was like, don't bring us that. We don't want to hear it. So now, but you have to be consistent. I'd say the number one thing to do in anything that you do, any dream, vision, anything that you're creating, to be consistent, because nobody has to believe it but you. Nobody has to be bought into it but you. And so I just want to talk a little bit about, you say you have 5 children.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness, and such a young mom. Yeah, you got a lot of good years left for those 5 kids, I tell you. But let me talk about Sasha the mom, Sasha the wife, and just Sasha the woman. Tell me a little bit about each.
Well, I would say being a mom takes up the majority of my time. I have 5 children, so my oldest is 17 and a half and my youngest is 2. So I'm very busy all of the time. They all play sports, so I'm a sports mom. I have a 6-year-old. I homeschool him. So last year was our first year of homeschooling for kindergarten, but I homeschooled him for preschool. And so, and then I work full time. I work in foster care. So I'm a social worker. So I'm pretty.
You're in the perfect. It's the perfect knitting together, actually.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one good thing about working in foster care is that we have kids that come in, and I can involve them in Concrete Rose. So that has been wonderful. Yeah.
What about the wife?
The wife, Miss Cris, I would say since I started Concrete Rose, that would and honestly, that's probably the one thing that hasn't been as strong is my wifely duties, because I am pulled in so many directions. So a goal for myself for this year is to improve in that area.
Okay. We can all improve everywhere. But you know, the great thing about it is that you have a spouse that is supportive, and that's the big thing that is really and it's a lot of hats you wear. Yes. So what about, tell us about, more importantly, beyond anything, tell us about Sasha the woman. Who is Sasha King?
That's a good question. I'm still figuring that out.
Okay.
I'm coming into myself over the past year, and Concrete Rose has helped with that. I've always been a person kind of in the background and just kind of to myself, and then Concrete Rose has forced me to be out there and to meet new people, talk to different people, connect, and things like that. So
are you a very outgoing person by nature? Is that your makeup?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not. So this is forcing me to be what I've always known myself to be different. And even when you talked about being creative, like I never thought of myself as being a creative person. And so when I think of myself now, I'm like, wow, like I have so many ideas that are constantly, going on in my head. And I never considered myself to be that type of person. So I'm still figuring myself out, and Sasha as a person instead of Sasha as the mom, Sasha as the wife. Because I was a teen mom, so I went in from childhood to mom, and so And
all the titles it's not who we are; it's basically what we do. And really, who I am is, like you said, it's evolving. Even me at my age, I'm still evolving, because as you get older, you should evolve. You should not be in the same place that you were in. And as your children become older, your parenting will change, because then you will become a parent of an adult child and not a toddler. And some of the problems that we have as mothers, we still are pediatric parents to our adult children. And so we have to learn how to be an adult parent, because you can't parent the same once your children become grown. There's a different shift in parenting. And I didn't know that until I had twins and kids of my own and figured that out. And but I know that finding out who I am first above everything will only help me to be the better founder and president of the organization, to be the better mother, to be the better wife. Finding out what makes me tick, what do I like to do? What are some things you like to do? What are some things that makes Sasha happy? Some things you like to do?
I like to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that I can travel more, but in the past few years, that has been the biggest thing for me.
Mm-hmm. Do you like to travel? And there could be a twofold to this: traveling with family and traveling just you and your husband. That can be challenging too, to find that still away time, yet you have the children. And most of the time it's probably a lot of the family stuff you do. So like you say, working on trying to figure out that piece of that. So I can imagine that's an ongoing process as well.
It
so
is.
Let me ask you, is there anything that gives you pause? What makes you stop in your tracks and just think about it, or what gives you pause in anything in life? Everybody has something that, oh, I just don't ever want this to happen, or if this happened, I don't know what I would do, and how would you overcome it? I know for me, I would just use an example. For me, the one thing, I have an issue with control. And a lot of times if I am not in control, it gives me, I stop, I pause, because sometimes I have to figure out what to do, because this ain't your game, girl. This is somebody else's thing. What are you gonna do? That's not a fear, but it gives me pause in life, that if I ever lose control of anything, but that's what I'm working on. That's a piece that I'm not going to be in control of everything. I'm not going to be in control of every single thing that happens in this world or in my life even. But I wanted to know what thing or something in life that gives you pause, makes you stop in your tracks. And if it does, what would you do about it? Or how would you approach it?
To be honest, control is a big thing for me as well. Especially with being a parent and parenting older children. I mean, that's even something that they've complained about to me. Control, I want to control, and even running Concrete Rolls, it has been hard for me to delegate and to have, other people doing things, because I want control.
I know.
I want things done my way. We have volunteers. I feel like no one else is going to have the same passion as me.
They shouldn't have it,
because it's mine.
But you still, and I'm saying that because I know for myself, we still have to delegate. We still have to learn how to trust ourselves, not so much the people, but ourselves. Trust ourselves to give it away for a moment. And I get that. I get what you're saying. Let's just talk a little bit about, we got a few minutes left, and I just want to talk a little bit about evolving as a woman and loving yourself first. What are some of the things that you do? I mean, we have these dreams and goals as women, and women are especially women of color. We are taking the businesses by storm. I see so many creative businesses of women of color, and we're taking really the whole world over with being creative, because we found a newfound freedom in ourselves. We're no longer held back by a woman can only do this or that, but yet we can still be a wife, we can still be a mother, we can still own our businesses, we can still all that. I always talk about love yourself first. That's my big thing, because that was one of the things that I had to work on when I started my organization. I didn't realize until later that I had an issue with loving me first. I loved everybody else. I did everything for everybody else. Everybody else was more important. But when it came to me, I kind of dumbed down. And so I had to find a way to shift into loving myself first. And once I did, it changed everything for me. Not only did it change everything for me, but it changed everything for the lives that I touch, because of the confidence it gives you, the self-esteem, the self-worth it gives you to love yourself first. What are some of the things that you do or you need to do to love yourself first?
I do very well with loving myself and self-care. One thing is just making sure that my inside, so my faith, I'm continuously reading, educating myself, take time for myself, getting my hair done, getting my nails done, getting a massage. I mean, just anything. Like, self-care is important. And one thing about me that I think is important is that I don't get discouraged easily. I don't get discouraged. And I'm very strong in my faith.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that has helped me, like, knowing who loves me, it has helped me love myself. And then I can better love others.
Yeah. And also, in loving ourselves first, the mental health is so important. And I discovered that about myself, that there was some mental health issues that I had to deal with. As I was unfolding this organization, some things, like you said, started unfolding in me. And I started to learn the mental health, staying healthy, not only in my physical body, but my mental mind. That health was so important. And that is what I think, when you're sound in that and a holistic approach, you can better be that person to everybody. And so I think that's what I'm hearing you say. So before we leave, and it's been wonderful talking to you, time goes really, really fast. I just want you to tell them, where can they find you on social media? How can they contact you about Concrete Rose? Now, I know you're in Muncie, and I know right now that's where you're working, but they may just want to contact you to ask you some questions about your organization. Where can they find you?
Absolutely. Our website is under construction right now, but it is www.concreterosemuncie.com. And our Facebook, I have control of that, so I can receive messages very easily on that, but it's Concrete Rose. And then also we have an Instagram under Concrete Rose Muncie. Okay,
well, we're going to list all that information in the description box below, so you can find that information. And if you just want to talk to Sasha about handling it all, juggling all of what she juggles, a mother, an organization, a business, and a wife, and keeping it all together with herself, she'd be a great person for you to talk to. So, Sasha, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you. We love you. We bless you. We wish you health and that you may prosper. And I want to say to everybody out there, remember, everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a purpose, and you have a vision in you. No matter what has happened to you or what you have done, there is a celebration in you. And I just want to tell you to celebrate your journey. And remember, transformation begins with you. I'm Cris Meadows, president of Harvest Girls International, Incorporated. We thank you for joining us today. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Let's talk about it. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.